Thank you very much for allowing me to say a few words to you. I apologize for not being with you, but I did enjoy the opportunity of meeting with Ken and other members of the executive committee when I was in Iowa in May, and I very much look forward to meeting with you guys again in the not too distant future. I don't have to tell anybody in the room, because you know it better than I do, that this country today faces enormously serious problems. We are now wrestling with more wealth and income inequality than in any time since the Great Depression. And if we don't get our hands around this issue, an issue in which the wealthiest people in this country are getting richer while the middle class is disappearing, and while we have more people living in poverty than any time in the history of America, if we don't deal with this issue, we are not going to have the middle class in this country. Now, what are some of the specific agenda items that I've been working hard on in Congress that I want to see passed? Number one, jobs, jobs, jobs. When you pick up the paper, they tell you that unemployment in America is 6.1%. That's not true. If you include those people who have given up looking for work, those people who are working part-time when they want to work full-time, real unemployment is close to 12%, youth unemployment 20%, African-American youth unemployment close to 40%. What we need to do is create millions of jobs in this country, and one way we can do that is rebuilding our crumbling infrastructure, roads, bridges, water systems, wastewater plants, old schools. We have an enormous amount of work to do. We have a lot of unemployed workers. Let's put our people back to work doing what has to be done to make our country more productive. Second of all, many of the new jobs that have been created since the Wall Street crash, many of these new jobs are part-time and low wage. We have got to make certain that every American who works 40 hours a week makes a living wage, does not live in poverty. And what that means is we got to raise the minimum wage. In Congress now, we're looking at $10.10 an hour, not as high as I would like to go, but if we could even pass that, it would mean providing a wage increase for some 25 million Americans who desperately need it, and that is what we have to do. Thirdly, when we try to examine why the middle class in this country is disappearing, a lot of that has to do with our disastrous trade policies, and that's NAFTA, CAFTA, permanent normal trade relations. And I want to tell you, I have since I've been in Congress, way back in 1991. I voted against all of them because I understood that those trade policies are designed to make large corporations more profitable at the expense of American workers. And our job right now is to tell corporate America, if you want us to buy your products, you're going to have to start investing in the United States of America, create jobs here and not in China. Furthermore, when we talk about what's going on politically in this country, what we understand is you're not going to have a democratic form of government when the Koch brothers and other billionaires are able to buy elections by spending hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars in campaigns, supporting candidates whose sole purpose is to make the wealthiest people in this country even wealthier. So what do we have to do? Well, we got to do a couple of things. Number one, we have got to overturn this disastrous Citizens United Supreme Court decision. We cannot allow billionaires to buy elections. Secondly, we've got to move toward public funding of elections. And thirdly, we need a political revolution in which we involve millions and millions of people, working people, low-income people, young people, people of color, who are not now involved in the political process. We're not going to make the changes we need if the pundits are right and voter turnout in this coming election is 40%. If that's the case, the Koch brothers win. So we have got to figure out a way to galvanize millions of people whose lives depend upon what happens in Washington to get involved in the political process. Last point that I want to make, but it is not the least important, and that is what the scientific community tells us is the great planetary crisis that we have is climate change, it is global warming. And in my view, if the United States does the right thing, if we lead the world in terms of cutting carbon emissions, not only can we leave this planet more habitable for our kids and our grandchildren, but by moving to energy efficiency, by moving to wind, solar, geothermal, biomass, and other sustainable technologies, we can create millions of jobs as well. So we have a lot of work on our hands. And I want to thank you guys for all that you are doing. Certainly the trade union movement is one of the vital institutions in America protecting working people. So thank you very much for all you're doing. Look forward to seeing you soon and working with you. Thank you very much.